Welcome, everybody, and thank you for logging in this afternoon for our careers in tourism, leisure, and events management here at UniSC. We are joined by a range of special guests. Serena, who's one of our current students, who's studying a double degree with us, and you'll get the chance to meet her a little bit later on, as well as Senior Lecturer of Tourism, Vicky Schaefer, who has a wealth of knowledge and so many years here at UniSC across a range of programs, but will be able to give you an in-depth breakdown of our Bachelor of Business majoring in tourism, leisure, and events. My name is Cody. I'll be your host this evening. I'm from our Future Students team. We do have a colleague here, Katie, as well from our Future Students team, who's going to answer all your questions. Now, talking about basic housekeeping, there is a Q&A tab at the top or bottom of your screen. Now, if there are any dying questions you have, you can start chucking them in now, and Katie will be able to answer them throughout the evening. If you have questions that you'd like us to save for a little bit later on, there will be a panel discussion with Vicky and Serena where we'll be able to get an academic and student perspective of our program as well as uni life here at University of the Sunshine Coast. For now, we're going to get started. As mentioned, if you do have any questions this afternoon, please start chucking them into that Q&A tab. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we work and live and recognize their continuing connection to land, water, and community. We pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. So here at UniSC, we are a multi-campus university. And before we jump into our programs, it's probably nice to know a little bit about the university itself. So with being a multi-campus university, there is a scope of locations you can study across the east coast of Queensland, as well as actually another campus down in Adelaide. So we have Fraser Coast and Gympie and Caboolture, which we would call our more regional campuses or our smaller campuses that offer a real one-on-one student connection, which is pretty amazing. Our two major campuses are Sunshine Coast and Moreton Bay, and these are what we call our full service campuses. So they come with a range of study opportunities and a range of programs. In fact, more than 90% of our programs are available at these two campuses, but also come with a scope of university life as well. So if you are close to one of those campuses or you plan on studying online with us, you can actually attend any of these major or more regional campuses to complete your studies, even if you're an online student. Now you know where you can study. How about the support that we can offer here at UniSC? And this is something that we do quite well. We are recognized for five-star student support for the last 10 years running. So we have academic and study support, careers and employment, health and well-being, financial support and scholarships, student groups and partnership opportunities, counseling, disability and equity, as well as our amazing student success team. Now, if I would recommend jumping in and exploring those support services, the number one I would be recommending is our careers and employment team. If you are a little bit lost on what you want to study, what majors you want to do, or maybe you're lost between two different programs or a pathway into those programs, our team of careers counselors in our careers and employment team are a great place to start. Alternatively, across our program pages is a book a campus tour or study advisor consult. That team there as well have a wealth of knowledge of our programs, but also can show you the campuses and the places you look at studying, which is pretty amazing. I think this is a really good opportunity to invite Vicky onto the screen. Vicky, if you're more than happy to join us, I believe that Vicky would be the best person to talk about business at UniSC and all the opportunities available to you and why, I guess, why we're number one for teaching quality in our business studies. Over to you, Vicky.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for coming, and thank you for the opportunity to chat to you this afternoon. There's so much that I can tell you about tourism, leisure, and event management, the business program, but also the opportunities to engage during your degree more broadly with the many other opportunities that are there. Cody just mentioned support services. Before I go on and tell you a few other things, I just want to make sure that I get the opportunity to say to you, to make the most of your career, get to know us, get to know your peers, and get to know the support services and the support teams that are available at UniSC, because that helps us help you. Feel free to come and chat to me or any of the other academic colleagues or any of the staff at UniSC about what it is that you want to achieve. Because in that way, we're able to look for opportunities with you. When things come across our desk, we can be thinking of, oh, yes, that's an opportunity for our students. Let's go for it and share it with you all as well. So really make it part of a team effort. On my website, my UniSC website, it actually says that I believe it takes a village to help graduate a student, and I really believe that. So engage in the village. That would be the first thing that I would say. In business, that's also critical. We talk about networking, we talk about engaging with others, we talk about stakeholder engagement and those types of things. We learn about those. And at the same time as you're doing your degree, do what we do, and that is engage with the community, engage with other stakeholders, and engage with industry. And we do our best to weave that through your degree with you as well. So why TLE? Well, the statistics are fantastic. In Australia alone, there are 700,000 plus roles in TLE, and a lot of those are in tourism because it's hard to capture the indirect opportunities in this sphere as well. And that was the stats just from a few months ago here in 2025. Australia welcomed almost 2 million visitors who spent $43 billion. That's a huge amount that comes into our communities, and each of our campuses are on or in areas that engage extensively with TLE as well. What's interesting for me, and hopefully for you as well, is over 80% of global travellers now consider sustainable, meaningful travel as being important, and that influences where they go. So the reason why I am still at UniSC after 2 decades, so I too am a proud UniSC graduate. I did an undergraduate, I did a honours and then my PhD. And then I was lucky enough to be offered a job at UniSC. And the reason I'm still there is because for me, sustainability is key. And that underpins so much of what happens at our university. The other key thing is innovation for me. I'm so interested in how we can engage in new ways. What can we create? I talk about being a transdisciplinary academic, but I think that's because TLE is also transdisciplinary. It's everybody's business. So we get to engage with so many different areas in so many different ways to be able to design, develop, deliver our experiences for those that are coming from all around the world. When we were just talking then about employment and spend, in Australia, our international visitors in 2024 spent $1.9 trillion, and the domestic spend was higher than that as well. So we're talking about a really significant area. I'm really passionate about the environment and in particular the marine environment. So much of my research is around things such as whale-related tourism. So that's one area that I look at as well. But I've also done lots of terrestrial animals and activities and worked with the Sunshine Coast Council and other councils to be able to explore how we can meaningfully engage with community as well as industry and the visitors that come here as well. So really, TLE wasn't where I was headed. I was very much going off into the marine space and, going to, save all the marine critters. But it really occurred to me very early on that the environment's going to take care of itself if we as human beings understand and are able to engage in meaningful ways. So education became really important in terms of how I wanted to engage with and achieve conservation of the environment. So people management, if you like. And that's a really key part of TLE. It's about understanding our visitors and figuring out how do we best connect them to our nature and natural areas as well, but also to culture and community. Most visitors are looking for something that's meaningful, authentic, life-changing. And so much of the research I do is about trying to understand the visitor experience and then designing experiences in that space. So some of the things that you'll learn in your degree as well very much lead you down that path, really trying to understand what it is that our visitors want, and then how do we design for that, but to also achieve meaningful outcomes for host communities as well as industry. At the moment, I happen to have a research partner who's in psychology. 3 of my students overlap with psychology and tourism, and they're off looking at the whale tourism space. So we've got one honours student exploring different facets of the visitor experience and pro-environmentalism. And 2 others are also looking at really interesting areas around health related tourism, as well as engagement with nature. So this is an area where you honestly can go to so many different places and spaces. And I think that the relationship that we have with our community and industry is very much why our students are able to get employment once they've graduated. They're able to explore different avenues. Some of them are opening their own businesses as well. And because we're really passionate about it, I also think that's probably reflects in the type of teaching that we do. We try very much to be quite experiential. I've taken 2 lots of students overseas. We went to Vava in Tonga, very much engaged in sustainable tourism and other facets of tourism. We blended marketing as well. We also looked at human geography in that space, which are all relevant for the types of careers that you might want as well. I have to stick to my notes because I get a bit excited about this topic and I can get off topic very easily. So yes, so is that what you wanted me to cover, Cody? Is that interesting and enlightening? Yes. Okay. Let's go into the work integrated learning space. This is another area that I just really love, and it becomes really easy in a place like UniSC because we are in communities that really care about the student experience as well. I often say that our university is not not so we don't say that the Sunshine Coast, as an example, has a university. We are actually of and in our community. We're very much engaged in the sorts of activities that are happening. And so in terms of work integrated learning, that opens up all sorts of fantastic opportunities that, I must say, have also led to employment opportunities. We've had students that work with on projects with the Sunshine Coast Council, and several of them have gone on to then work for council. The same with Moreton. So in the Moreton region, the same things happened there. We've been able to engage with their tourism area and their events space, and then opportunities have presented themselves for students. Just this year, we had a student that went and worked with White House International. Now, that's a really fantastic and dynamic event space. Search for that later if you'd like to. And they do all sorts of really interesting events, both locally, nationally, and internationally. And our students got to work very much hands-on in that particular business to help deliver a number of events. We also had students working with Your Mates Brewery. The Wynnum Golf Club was another one as well. With Spectra Vision. Now, Spectra Vision partnered with the UniSC, and students actually got to work on developing and presenting an art gallery exhibition. Another one was Images by Lou O'Brien, which is a local photographer. And so they were actually able to work with them in the wedding space. Another one was the Education edition of the Delve magazine. And that was looking at designing educational experiences and shaping education. And so students were able to engage with them as well, to do some interviews and collect information and help support that particular edition. Another one is the Redcliffe Dolphins. Now, with the Dolphins, that's around the sports events part of our degree. And we've had a couple of students go and engage with the Dolphins now, of which one of them took the opportunity to work with them as well. We also have another student working with the Broncos, and that was a student that did work integrated learning with in the Ironman event space, and then got a whole bunch of experience and learnt a lot that they were then able to put into practice when they've gone to work for the Broncos. What's really interesting about these, though, is that, and what we say to students is, have a go at anything. If this is interesting to you, have a go, because it's an opportunity to learn about an area that you think you might be interested in, but you might discover other things. So we had a student that took on an internship, very passionate about the wedding space. And that particular student at that time did their internship in a wedding space, in a wedding venue, but discovered during that experience that they were really passionate about people. And so then, as they directed where their career was going to go, ended up working in a much more hands-on people space. As a graduate, they've gone on and worked with high-speed motor racing and other areas, but very much focused on designing experiences with people in mind. And so that was a really interesting area. So think about that when you're doing your internship as well. The last one that I'll share with you, because this one was kind of fun. So these particular students, as a group in their work integrated learning project, they went to work for the Big Pineapple Festival, or engage with the Big Pineapple Festival on a project. And that was just run in November. And so they were able to design any kind of experience or activity that they could then design and deliver and assess as part of their work integrated learning project. And so they developed an event where the guests were throwing pineapples. So it was the pineapple throwing competition. So that was a huge amount of fun, as you can imagine, not only for the students, but the attendees at the event as well, and was quite unique and interesting. And there are many others I could talk to you about. Woodford Folk Festivals coming. Many students have been able to do work integrated learning and internships at the Woodford Folk Festival as well. So all of this, weaves through your project, because even in our coursework, we try to also engage students with industry in a number of different ways as well. So always stay open to those opportunities. It is a 3-year program, but honestly, it will go so fast. Okay, engage very purposefully throughout those 3 years. Take every opportunity that you can. You can be on campus at the Sunshine Coast or at Moreton, and also online. And I would really encourage you to engage. Okay, engage doesn't necessarily mean just turning up. It means really taking an active role in your learning as well. The whole goal is that you start off building a very solid foundation and then continue to build on that year on year as you develop not only your knowledge, but your skills, and also building your networks as well. And of course, we've talked about the internship. And you also get what's really important, and I think I've mentioned this now to you, is it's really important to see TLEM as being quite a broad. In fact, it's not an industry, it's a system. And I'm sure you can now appreciate that it's a system made up of lots of other industries. And so the opportunities there are quite extensive. But having a solid marketing, creative, and management foundation really will help you as you move through your degree, but also as you come out as a graduate. These are some of the courses that, or these are the courses that you will do, of course, not some of them, these are the courses. You'll see that marketing focus is very much there. TLE is a service system, although we talk about products. So, we are selling a tour as an example, and we refer to those as products. They are really foundationally services. So, really understanding service is an important part of this as well. Really understanding as well all the elements that make up a visitor experience. And it's probably much broader than you think. Reflect on yourself when you've been traveling, or maybe you're about to travel. It's everything from trying to engage with somebody when they're thinking about taking a holiday, to when they first go online to do some searching, for when they contact somebody, for when they might go through, well, sorry, hopefully they go through the process of purchasing something, then engaging with that operator and undertaking the experience that they've paid for, and all the many facets that influence that experience, but also when they go back home again, understanding whether it's an event or a tourist experience or it's a leisure component, that we engage with people afterwards. We want to understand how they felt about their experience. What could you do better? Having a semi debrief with them as well, but also building that relationship. So you'll see that that's threaded very much through the courses in the major. And lots of combinations. There's opportunities for everyone in TLE. As I mentioned very early on, TLE is everybody's business. If you're into accounting and you're a numbers person, TLE needs you. If you're into communication, well, that's clear, isn't it? And I do believe you're going to hear a bit more about that as well. But that's critical to TLE. Creative industries, that's everything from designing fantastic posters to merchandise to displaying events to the wedding sector to how an experience would be delivered as well. Websites, all of these things are critically important. What is interesting in terms of that double there, you'll see, is criminology and justice. That's a big part of this as well, and the facets that we have with the Bachelor of Business. Science, well, I've already mentioned about my marine science experience, and I did some science as part of my degree as well. And the psychology, which I've mentioned. A lot of the research we're looking at the moment is about emotion. So we're looking at awe and wonder, in particular, as transformational emotions to engage people in these experiences. So there is lots of scope and opportunity to be able to take your degree in a direction that will head you towards the career that you're most wanting to undertake.
Thanks, Vicky. And that was so insightful. I think there's some key parts that really stood out to me. And and I guess like an idea I didn't realize was like, for example, a music festival, which I look at as an event, is a tourism activity. It's driving people from all over different coasts and different environments, all to a single location, which could be on the Sunshine Coast, and driving them to that location for it to host an activity. And I didn't really think of tourism in that sort of aspect of being an event at the exact same time. So that really opened my eyes on how tourism, leisure, and events all come together as one activity or one event or one sort of industry or scope of ideas. So that was really nice to know, and including the work integrated learning and the opportunities our, I guess, students get to have throughout their degrees. But sounds like a lot of opportunity for students to really go seek out their own sort of internship opportunity based on their passions, interests, and where they want to go. So we're going to keep moving forward a little bit. We're going to learn about, now that we have a great understanding of our programs, is How do I apply? How do I get ready for university and explore what this Bachelor of Business majoring in tourism, leisure, and events could look like? So, your first step is that you want to check out on our website and kind of work out what is the best degree that suits you. So, if it is the Bachelor of Business, what you want to do is check the entry requirements, make sure you have all the entry requirements you need, and then you're going to apply at qtac.edu.au. Now, QTAC is our admissions partner, they're a third party website. And this is where you go complete you actually get six preferences. Number one preference is your dream program, all the way through to your number six is maybe a pathway option for you. So, for example, you don't have to fill out all six. If you are someone who definitely goes, I know I want to apply for the Bachelor of Business, fantastic. I'm going to put that as my number one. But I still highly recommend that even if you think that's the only program you want, still put in a pathway program. And talking about pathway programs, we have a fantastic one for you. It's called TPP, Tertiary Preparation Pathway. This is one example where we have a fee-free bridging program that goes for 1 semester, and you can utilize this once completing to get direct entry into the Bachelor of Business. It's a fantastic program that will help you with your academic writing, literacy and numeracy support, as well as learning how to use the online systems and processes here at UniSC. That could be journal articling, that could be referencing support, that could be how to navigate, I guess, all our resources available to you to make your learning experience so much better and so much easier by having that mentorship throughout your first semester. And talking about QTAC, applying through QTAC, we're actually going to give away free QTAC vouchers. Now, to apply for university, there is an admissions fee. It's usually around $150, but we're going to pay for that on your behalf. Now, if you have already applied, no need to worry. You do not need, unfortunately, there is no credit opportunities or anything like that. But if you haven't applied just yet and you are looking to get into that next offer round, feel free to scan that QR code. Alternatively, tomorrow morning, we'll send you out a copy of this presentation as well as a link to the QTAC voucher form. We'll send that out to you in 24 hours, and you can use that special code to apply for our Bachelor's of Business program. This is an opportunity for you to save yourself $150 as well and get into that next offer round and find out, hopefully sooner rather than later, if you got into the Bachelor's of Business here at UniSC. This is my favorite part of the evening. I'd love to invite Serena onto the screen. I already have Vicky joining us. This is an opportunity for our audience to ask a range of questions about student life, what it looks like, what does flexibility, how can I get to that finish line, as well as we have an academic here with a wealth of knowledge across the program. Although, Vicky, I believe there's not many questions going to be left because you gave such an in context to the program itself, including all the amazing experiences you can have. But if there are any questions that you're dying to have answered, please chuck them into the Q&A now. But for now, I do have a couple of questions already prepared. And Serena, the first one I would love to do is could you introduce yourself, what you're studying, and what campus are you currently at?
Okay, so hi, I'm Serena. I'm in my third year of a double degree in business and communications. So I'm majoring in with my business, the tourism, leisure, and event management, and then with communication, majoring in social media. And I'm based at the Moreton Bay campus. Yeah, I didn't really know why I wanted to study tourism. It was just have a passion for traveling. So it was really I felt tourism was the right step for my future plans. But yeah, I enjoyed it so far.
And just quickly, our students come from such different pathways. They maybe applied through ATAR, or maybe they went to TAFE first and then moved on to further study. Some of them have come through our bridging programs. How did you gain entry into university?
So I have a bit of a roller coaster way that I got into university. So my first year when I came straight out of school was 2020. I started the single Bachelor of Business majoring in tourism, leisure, and event management. As we know, COVID happened in 2020. And then I wasn't sure what the future was in the tourism and event world. So I decided to change to not safer degree, but something that was more stable in such a unstable world. So I changed to secondary education, majoring in performance and English, like to be a drama and English teacher. Um, Decided teaching wasn't for me, so I then took a few gap years to fully work out what I wanted to do. And then last year I decided to try uni again, and added that second degree just to see what it was like. And yeah, I love it.
That's really good. And no straight pathway looks the same. I know for me, it took me to study an associate degree in something completely irrelevant to make the changeover. I ended up studying a Bachelor of Business majoring in marketing and strategic communications. So it kind of sounds a little similar to yourself. I had a passion of products, strategy, funneling is a really big thing that I'm really interested in. I'm a bit of a data nerd. But also that engagement, working with customers, really understanding what people want to what they want from us in terms of a partnership and how we can provide that at a really high quality service, which sounds very similar to obviously this major here. So I can see the overlap in the synergies between marketing, events, tourism, leisure. All of it does have a huge overlap in terms of who is the most important when it comes to, I guess, this service, and it is the customer, but how can we do it sustainably and safely, as well as offering something with longevity as well. So that's really cool to hear. So I think something that might be really important to this audience is what does study look like? What does the commitment look like? How am I going to get to that finish line? It is a 3-year program. And for you, Serene, it's a 4-year program, which is pretty impressive that you can do two different degrees, bring them together and do it in 4 years. I think that's a really great opportunity as well to get recognized as well as having a specialized skill set. But Vicky, I might just go to you first. What does a flexibility look like here at UniSC? What does the study commitment look like? Is there lectures? Is there tutorials in class? What does it look like for a face-to-face student? But also, what does it look like for an online student? Does it differ?
So, really, I want to reiterate the importance of engagement. Okay, so regardless of whether you're an on campus student or an online student, or maybe you're juggling a few different ways to engage with us, engagement is key. Okay, so you can come on campus, absolutely. If you're an on campus student, we have workshops every week for the period of the trimester. You get a short break and then we do it again. And then we do that again and again, 6 times. But during that time, the goal is that you come to your workshops, whether it's online or whether it's face to face, and engage. Okay, so you get some really good activities, information's explained to you, you get to apply what you are learning. And then you've also got to do some work at home as well, so in the outside of on-campus hours, so to speak, or workshop hours, highly encourage you to hang around our beautiful campuses. There's lots of facilities and people there to help you as well. And that also supports your level of engagement. But you want to be doing a good 10 hours a week on top of our workshop hours as well. That's not just to do your assessment, that's to read and engage and look what's happening in that industry, which we highly encourage as well. Pay attention to what's happening around you. That can be relevant for your assessment task, but it's also really important when you're thinking about what you're learning and how does that apply in the context of the industry area that you'd like to go into.
Thanks, Vicky. And Serena, what does study look like for you? For maybe the attendees who don't know, to be a full-time student, it's usually 3 or 4 subjects per semester. A semester goes for like 10 to 12 weeks. Now, you can do them a mix of on campus or online, or all on campus or all online. We're very lucky in the Bachelor of Business. Some subjects do require you to be on campus, but majority you do have that flexibility. But for Serena, what does that look like for you? How have you committed to your studies, and what does a typical week look like?
So with my studies, all of my courses that I've done with my double degree, the lecture material is available online. So you don't have to go sit in a lecture theatre and listen to someone talk. You can do that at your own pace, at your own time, whenever's the best for you. There's a really good work-life balance with uni, especially at UniSC, because it really is very adaptable. Last semester, my timetable was a bit weird, so I decided to do an online class that fit in with my timetable with work and everything. But yeah, I did 3 courses last semester, and that meant I just had to be on campus 6 hours a week, which was really great. But yeah, getting to interact with the tutors and getting a connection with them is really great. I do prefer on-campus classes just because I learn better in a classroom environment. But having that online option is really great just to create that work-life balance.
Yeah, completely get it. I know something that was really important to me that stood out was with the lectures where there's two kind of normal ways of learning, which is the lecture where you take in a lot of content. There's not a lot of opportunity to ask questions compared to maybe your tutorial class or a collaboration class where you work together on case studies and practical lessons and really get to collaborate, go forth. But with that lecture, the fact that you can watch that at a time that suits you. I know for me, I'm really great at taking information in the morning. So if a lecture was at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, instead of attending it live, which some classes do have a live lecture you can attend, I would probably just listen to it the next morning where I know I can take it in, take those notes, pause it, or while walking the dog and listening to it and taking it all in. Everyone has a different way of adopting that sort of information, which is really cool. My number one rule, though, I find is never miss a tutorial class. That collaboration of engagement, what Vicky was saying, is the most important class, I think, for any student I found in my whole business degree, is that when you're collaborating for that session where you're working with other students and the academic and you're working on a case study and scenarios, is where you take in more information because you're learning it in a different way outside the theoretical. So just quickly now, I think it's time to move over into like what does life look like after study? Vicky, can you give us some context on maybe some of the students you've known over the years on what the kind of graduate jobs that you've seen? I know you highlighted some of the work integrated learning opportunities where they've really like finished those and gone on and stayed in employment, like with the Redcliffe Dolphins. Can you provide other examples of students that have gone on to careers after their bachelor's?
One of the really fortunate things for us is that our graduates tend to stay in our sphere. So I still have contact with a large number of the graduates that have come through the program. And they end up in all sorts of fascinating places. I was just chatting to one of our graduates who's in Dubai, and she was always very passionate about nature and also passionate about health. And she managed to combine those and has recently written a book. So her career has spanned taking people on tours into the natural environment to being overseas and as I said, writing a book. So lots of really interesting things happening. We've got a graduate at the moment who's, again, really interesting. She did a dual degree with science and TLE. And we did an honours project together where we popped the drone up and we were able to take photos of whales and look at body composition. And then I'm quite involved in citizen science. So that graduate came along and worked with me on a project around citizen science and now is working in Antarctica for half the year and the Arctic for the other half of the year on whale tourism vessels. And if anyone knows anything about Happy Whale, the graduate came to the Sunshine Coast when we had the Marine Bio Blitz and shared with us all this really fantastic information about the whales through the Happy Whale app. So many of really great opportunities. I was talking to a young graduate the other day, and he is now running his own business as well in the TLE space. And then there are several who are combining events, festivals, and as part of their careers, either running events and festivals or working within events and festivals. Lots of music festivals happening in that space, but cultural festivals and sporting festivals as well.
That's fantastic. And I know there was that young gentleman who was actually in a picture just before from your mates who does events and communications for your mates brewery, which is obviously when you think of breweries, you forget that there's a whole marketing and business and events side to that as well, including all the tourism events that they go to, such as brewing festivals and other sort of community organization events as well. So that's really cool to see that some of our UniSC graduates are working for some such amazing local brands, not just international as well. So they're supporting our local footprint grow and become a more bolstered community, which is really cool to see. And just following that, we do have a question from the live audience, which is what are some of the career opportunities for a dual degree in business and criminology? Vicky, do you have any examples of students or I guess the industry that you've known they've used that dual qualification for?
Sorry, forgot to unmute myself. So this is a really interesting one, and it's an emerging field. So when I was saying earlier on about all the traditional types of jobs that we think about, but then there's this emerging area as well. So for instance, at the airport, there's a whole bunch of security that goes in that space. So you're working in security or in some kind of security management within the many areas or industries within TLE, such as airlines, such as security at events, such as patrol officers that go down to things such as schoolies to be able to engage meaningfully with people as well. Um, a lot of destinations have security consultants and managers, and they will also cross over into environmental. So not just, providing security management and consultancy around people, but also around how we engage meaningfully with environmental and making sure that we're complying with policy and practice in that space as well. Immigration. You mentioned you're a data nerd. I like data as well. Intelligence analyst. So there's a whole bunch of really interesting and emerging spaces within TLE and criminology as well. So I hope that's a little bit helpful for you as well. When I think about cruise ships and, all that type of engagement as well.
Of course, there's policy and infrastructure. Like, for example, if there's a Broncos game at a stadium, there's got to be a compliance and policies put into place. And someone with this skill set who works in these sort of environments to make sure everyone can have a safe and happy experience would have to come from a policy and skilled background such as this. So I forgot there's such an operational side to all of this as well that a lot of people don't see the day in, day out, especially when you've got things like weather planning. I'm sure that is a massive thing at festivals. Like, what do we do in a policy if we had a crazy weather event such as hail or lightning, and we have to put things in place to make sure that, we have 10,000 people here, that they're going to be nice and safe. You just opened up my mind so quickly. I'm like, oh, all these scenarios that could happen in an emergency that you have to plan for. That's a really good point, Vicky. I get really excited about these things. I'm like, there is so many other sides of, I guess, tourism, events, all these things that connect between, I guess, policies that connect from accounting or that you need obviously a lot of these skills such as communications as well. So that's something really cool to understand that there is a whole world attached to this one industry. Um, Serena, over to you. We've been talking about careers and opportunities. Now, I know you still got a little bit to go. In fact, I think you got 1.5 year to go. Um, what does life look like for you after uni? Have you still got an internship opportunity to go? And if you do you kind of know what sort of area you would like to explore? But what are you kind of betting on to try and get into at this point in time? I'll talk to you in a year's time, but what is your current plan after you finish university?
So I haven't done my internship yet, but I am hoping, like in the future, to go into more of like a tourism social media marketer kind of role. Just I really would really love to like travel and work. That's my main goal. But yeah, with internship, it would be really great to get something in the tourism industry. But I'm also really interested in like going into more of the sport industry. So something with like the Dolphins or the Broncos in social media marketing would be really cool. But yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense, and all that skill set you can actually do from your backyard, especially with the Olympics coming up in the next few years. I know that a lot of those roles, especially in the communication side, really start kicking off like 4 years out. They need to start planning infrastructure and communicating that infrastructure plan and creating that momentum of excitement. Like 4 years out, I know my partner actually worked for the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast, and was a part of the team from 4.5 years out, as if it didn't even exist in a physical presence. And that was something that was really exciting about all the momentum work that happens behind the scenes that you don't start seeing until a couple of years in. So there's definitely opportunities when it's coming up to your internship, which sounds like it might be next year. But maybe by the time you finish, there'll be further opportunities in your backyard. You won't even have to go seeking in terms of relocation to go for a massive world-changing event, such as maybe the Olympics here in Australia, which would be a really great opportunity. And I know the university is doing a lot with the Olympics, from our School of Health, from the School of Business, really going to make the most of all those opportunities. And the Olympics committee team really want to work with our universities and our students all across the tertiary sector here in Queensland. So it's a really exciting opportunity for our footprint, and I hope for maybe some of our attendees here tonight are getting ready for that opportunity as well, that they can work for maybe the Olympics, and then when they graduate, follow the Olympics. I know that is a very popular thing with the Com Games team. I know they traveled from Commonwealth Games, and when it finished, they might go to the Euro Cup for a bit, and then they'll get ready for the next Com Games, and it'll be somewhere else in the world. And Serena, like you said, it is a job where you can actually travel in a physical presence, or maybe you work for a digital business as well, and can work in a digital aspect. So it sounds like a lot of fun. It doesn't sound like a 9 to 5 typically. Some jobs I'm sure can be, but it sounds like there is a lot of opportunity to really seek out that high engaging environment. So it's something I'm sure that a lot of people who work in this industry really look forward to, those exciting opportunities. Now we're going to start wrapping up for this evening. Vicky, I would love to throw it over to you. Do you have any advice that you would love to pass on to our prospective audiences here tonight? It's probably the last chance that they'll get to hear from you until they see you in the classroom, because I know you do teach a few units, and I definitely you do not get missed on campus. You are very much engaging with everyone. Is there anything you can pass on to these students that might look at studying with us next year?
To reiterate what you were saying then about the up and coming Olympics and Paralympics, 2 years ago, we had students actually exploring opportunities for students and graduates. And that was 2 years ago. My colleague, Dr. Aaron Tam, who's also in the TLEM program, is sitting on the Brisbane's committee for the Olympics and Paralympics. And we're very much engaged with the one on the Sunshine Coast as well. So my biggest advice is just go for it. Just do it. Have a go, get enrolled, be engaged, take every opportunity that comes past you. Say yes to stuff. So if an opportunity presents itself, even if you're not sure if it's exactly what you want to do, say yes anyway, because everything is about learning. You learn what you really like, you learn where your strengths are, you learn what you don't like as well. We've certainly had graduates come in thinking they're going to do one thing. Students come in, and when they graduate, they're doing something completely different in this particular space. So it's an opportunity to learn. So be a giant sponge, take it all in, share your experiences as well, because that's really important, and just go for it.
Thanks, Vicky. And that was really good to know about one of our academics being a part of the board. It sounds like we've got an insider trade in there that we can probably really explore those opportunities as well. Because I know there's a heap of locations happening here on the sunny coast in terms of the Olympics and what that means, including Moreton Bay and Petrie as well. That's everything from us tonight. We're going to start moving to the wrap up. If you do have any other further questions, please put them in the Q&A. We'll answer them. Katie will be answering them for the rest of the evening for the next couple of minutes. Finally, I would just like to say thank you to our panel members, Vicky and Serena. I really appreciate you guys jumping on tonight and being able to give both an amazing perspective of our program, but Serena, for you, providing obviously that student knowledge of what it actually looks like to be a student here at UniSC. So if you do have any other further questions and you are planning maybe to think of studying next year, you can actually receive one-on-one advice with a study advisor. All you have to do is jump on our website across all our program pages. There's a little banner that says book a campus tour or book a one-on-one with a study consult. Then you can book a time that suits you. You can walk and talk and check out the facilities here across a range of our campuses. Alternatively, if you just wanted to give our Student Central team a call, it is the exact same team who you can either book a 30-minute consult with or book a campus tour with. You can actually just give them a quick call or send them an email on 075430 2890. The Student Central team have a wealth of knowledge to provide pathway advice, application advice, and help you on to those next steps. Thank you for joining us this evening. We look forward to seeing you on campus early next year. Once again, if you have any dying questions, chuck them in. We'll be able to stick around for a couple more minutes to make sure that all your questions are answered. A copy of this presentation, as well as a QTAC voucher form, will be sent out to you tomorrow morning. Please reach out to us if we can help you at all. Thank you again, and have a good evening.